So all over the internet, you probably heard a lot of noise about AI agents, and no-code tools like N8N to make automations. And you're probably wondering to yourself, what does all this mean, and how can I build my own automation tools and AI agent? Well, stick around because today I'll show you how to make your very first automation, and it takes less than 10 minutes. Stick around, I'll show you how. So, what is N8N exactly? Well, N8N is an automation tool that allows you to connect to various apps, just like Google, Microsoft, Notion, Discord, you name it. N8N can connect to anything that has an API, and you can make a lot of cool automation workflows. So, the way it works is you connect nodes together, and they're kind of like building blocks. You put them together, and you set up a workflow, and you can automate a lot of mundane and tedious tasks together, and it's pretty cool what you can do with them. Saves you a lot of time, a lot of hours. So today I'm going to show you how to build a very simple workflow. It takes less than 10 minutes to build, but it can save you a lot of time. So if you ever looked at an N8N workflow and it seemed kind of intimidating, well, don't worry about it. First, we got to start small, just baby steps, and start with simple automations, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So the more you practice with these types of tools, the more confident you'll feel, and the easier it'll seem as you build on and make more complex tools. So let's start off with something simple. All we're going to do is just download email attachments from Gmail and then upload them to Google Drive. It sounds kind of simple, but it's pretty handy and it can save you a lot of time. So let's go. Now, if you haven't used N8N before, the easiest way to get started is just by signing up for the 14-day trial. So there's two ways to set up N8N. One is self-hosting on your own server or machine, and then the second way is using N8N Cloud. So if you're just testing it out, the cloud is probably your best bet. If you already have N8N set up, then you can skip this part. I set up the timestamps that you can switch to below. All right. Okay, so let's get started. So right here, first you're gonna want to go to n8n.io. All right, you'll be taken to N8N site here. There's a get started right here on the top right corner. So let's click that, and you just have to sign up. All right, so after clicking on get started, you're gonna be taken to another tab, and this is where you just fill up your information. Just put in your name here. I'm just gonna fill out my name. Just put in your email address, set up a password. This is going to be your N8N URL. So whenever you want to go back into your N8N cloud, this is going to be your account name, which you're going to put in your address bar. All right, I'm just going to leave that unchecked. And this is where you click on start free 14-day trial. All right, so let's do that. And then it's just going to take you to this questionnaire. This part doesn't really matter. I'm just going to quickly, sure, sales. Let's get through this. YouTube. This part here I'm just going to skip. If you want to invite a friend, go ahead. But for now, just for this video, I'm just going to skip this part. And then it's going to start building up your workspace. So this is just setting up your whole area where you're going to save all of your workflows and all your settings and things like that. So just give it a minute here to finish up. All right, looks like it's ready. So right here, you're going to click on start automating. Go ahead and click that. And there you go. So this is your N8N workspace. So right away, this has all the features where you're going to be building all of your workflows. You can create workflows and set up all of your settings here. So yeah, all right. What we're going to do now is go start from scratch, and we're going to build our very first N8N workflow. All right, so start from scratch. All right, so here we are. This is our blank canvas for building our very first workflow. All right, so what we're going to do here is going to click on this plus sign here. This is what's going to be our trigger. So the trigger is going to be what executes the workflow. All right, so when you click on that, you'll have the different options here. These are different ways you can start your workflow. So you can do it by schedule. If you're testing, there's a trigger manually. For this workflow we're doing today, we're going to be doing a Gmail trigger. Right here, search Gmail, click on that, on message received. All right, there we go. So this is where you can add your settings for your Gmail trigger. And right here, you can see that you have to create a new credential. So this is where you're going to sign into your Gmail account, which N8N will connect to. So let's do this part right now. We're going to click on create new credential. You're going to want to select OAuth 2. All right. So let's go sign in with Google. All right, pick your account, select all, continue, connection successful. There you go. Perfect. All right, so now let's exit out of that. Okay, so now we have our Gmail account. And one more thing you want to add, I want to add is if you're going to connect different Gmail accounts, what I like to do, I just like to name these by the email address. That's just me. You can leave it as is if you want. So let's just do that right now. At gmail.com. All right, just so I can differentiate between the two. Save, exit. There we go. All right, so now let's configure the settings. So for the mode, you can leave this like this. It's just basically checking for what the trigger event will be. So we'll leave it as once a minute. And then message received, we'll leave it at that. All right, now what we're going to do here is add a filter. So this is where you tell the node which emails you want to react to. So what we're going to select here is labels, names, or IDs. All right, now after that, you select that, you click on it again. You're going to have all these different options here. So the ones I'm going to select here are inbox and unread. So you can get very detailed with this and how you want your node to react to messages received. We're keeping this one very simple, mainly just to show you how N8N works. So let's just keep it like this. What this is going to do here is in your inbox, it's going to take anything that's unread, and then it's going to take that and it's going to execute using that email. All right, then what we're going to do here next, last thing we got to do, this simplify. We're just going to uncheck that. That's going to enable this section here for options. So this is what's going to allow us to download our attachments. So we're going to open this Dropbox here, download attachments, check the box to download attachments. And there we go. So these are all the settings that we're going to set up for our trigger. One more time, quick overview. It's going to connect to our account. It's going to check the inbox every minute. We're going to react to message received for any unread messages in our inbox, and it's going to download the attachments. So that's it. That's our first node. We're going to move on to our second one. So we're going to click here back to canvas. All right, there you go. So that's what that looks like right there. All right, now from here on this part, we're going to click on this plus sign right there. All right, so what is this doing now? We're going to connect to the next node. So once our trigger is activated, right, it gets the email, downloads the attachment. The next part, we're telling it what to do with that email and the attachment. All right, so what we're doing here is we're going to upload it to our cloud. So let's look for, Google. And there's Google Drive. All right, and what we're going to do here is we're going to select upload file. So when you click on that, they'll be taken to the settings. All right, so we're going to configure it next, and you'll see it's already connected to our trigger right there. It's just showing the X because we haven't set it up yet. So double click on that. We'll go back into the settings. Now for every Google node, you're going to have to connect your Gmail account again, which is not a big deal. So we set up our Gmail one here. It's not going to take effect for all Google apps. It's just all other Gmail nodes. So if I were to make another Gmail node after this, then it would save that. But for Google Drive, we're going to have to set it up again. And then in the future, any Google Drive node that you set up, it's going to save it. So you only have to do this once per node. So create credential, OAuth 2. All right, now this is different. Now you're going to see here, this has client ID and client secret. All right, so what is that? All right, so that's just the way Google's going to authenticate using OAuth 2 with N8N, and we're going to be using this OAuth redirect URL in your cloud settings. All right, so again, you only have to do this once, and then when you have other nodes, you can use the same client ID and client secret, so you're going to be saving that. All right, so we're going to take a break from our node here. I'm just going to hit close, back to canvas. So we're going to take a break here from our N8N workflow, and I'll show you how to get your client ID and client secret from Google. All right, so I have another tab open here. We're going to go to our Google Cloud Console. So I'll put the URL for this site in the description below. But this is what it looks like when you sign in. So this is a fresh account that I'm using for this video. So it's going to act like it's the very first time. This is what you'll probably see. So just hit agree there. That can stay blank because it's going to send you spam. Agree and continue. So this is the cool thing. When you're signing into Google Cloud for the first time, it's going to offer you these free credits. So what this is $300 worth of AI credits that you can use. I'll show you how to set this up in a different video, but just keep this in mind. We're going to be using this in the future. It's something just good to keep in mind. But anyways, let's get started. So you're going to go start a project, new project. All right, so this here, you can name it whatever you like. I'm just going to name this N8N-YouTube. Create, and there you go. So now we're going to go into our project. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to do is you have to create a project. All right, so now this is where you're going to configure all of your API settings and set up all of your settings for your credentials. So now we're going to go to this side menu here. All right, we're going to go over where it says APIs and services, and let's go enable APIs and services. This is what we're going to do first. All right. I know this looks like a lot, but don't worry, it's not too complicated. All right, so you notice that we used a Gmail node and a Google Drive node. So we're going to search for two APIs here. There's a Gmail API. So we're just going to have to simply enable this. Oh, enable. Perfect. That's it for that. Now we're going to go to Google Drive API. Google Drive API. Enable. Now every category for Google has an API, right? So Gmail node, Google Drive node, Google Sheets, anything that you want to do with Google, each individual node is going to have its own API. So you just have to remember, if you're going to use Google Sheets next, for example, just look up Google Sheets. And this will have its own node, Google Sheets API. I'll just enable it right now since we're going to be using it in the future. Not for this video, but this is what you're going to have to do for each category. So just keep that in mind. But for this video here, we're just going to use the two APIs. All we need is Gmail and Google Drive. All right, perfect. So you have this set up. Now, next, what we're going to do here is we're going to go here where it says OAuth consent screen. I'm going to click on this. All right, you're going to have this, right? Since we haven't set up anything yet, we're going to click on get started. Now this is where you're just going to put in your app name. This you can put anything else. I'm just going to put N8N-YouTube. All right, support email. You can just put your own Gmail account there. Hit next. Audience, you're going to want to select external. Next. Contact information. I'm just going to put the same email here. .yt. All right, good. And then just agree, continue, and you're done. So now we're gonna hit create. All right, perfect. So we're not done yet. Next, we're gonna go to clients. Okay, you're gonna see nothing here. So we're gonna go right up here where it says create client. Perfect. All right. So now right here, you're gonna expand this Dropbox, drop down, and just select a web application. Right here, again, name it whatever you like. I'm gonna name mine N8N -YouTube. And just a reminder, you only have to do this once, not for every single workflow, which is a nice relief. Okay, so now this is where we're gonna put our redirect URL from N8N. So this is what's gonna connect N8N and your Google account. So we're gonna go back to our N8N workflow here. All right, double click on this and create new credential. So this is what we're going to be using right here, OAuth redirect URL. So you're going to click on that. It copies it automatically to your clipboard. Go back to your cloud, add URI. Let's go ahead and paste that in there. Great. All right, now this is only going to show up once. So make sure you copy this in a safe part. This is your client ID, client secret. That's exactly what you're going to be putting here. All right, so let's just get our client secret. Paste it in there. Client ID, put it in there. Make sure you're pasting it also in a safe part where you can get it back so you don't lose this. Otherwise, you're going to have to do this step again, which is not the end of the world, but saves you some time. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm just going to click save. Now let's try this. Sign in with Google. Oh, actually, sorry, one thing I forgot to mention. Last thing we have to do, we're gonna go to audience, and I always forget this, publish app. Click on that, confirm. Good, done. All right, so now let's quickly go back here. Now we can sign in. Select your account. Click on advanced. If you get this, go to N8N cloud. Your browser is going to say it's unsafe, just doesn't know what it is yet. Let's go select all. Just going to move that there. Continue. There we go. So there's that. Now, if we're going to set up, let's say a Google Sheets node and it asks for the same information here, you're going to use the same client ID, same client secret. So you don't have to go and set up all that stuff again. This is what I mean by saving your information. So you're going to want to go and get your client ID, paste it in, client secret, paste it in, and then just sign in just like I did right now. So once this shows as green, says account connected, we are good to go. So let's exit out of that. Again, you can rename this. If you go edit, you can rename it right here. I'll just leave it like that for now. And let's continue. So now we have our settings right here for our upload file. So what this is going to do is it's going to grab the attachment from the previous node and then it's going to put it into our Google Drive. All right, so file name, just for now, let's put attachment from N8N. All right, we're going to leave it like that. You can create folders. So if you click on folders here, you're going to find different folders. This is a fresh account, so there's not other folders that I've created. So root folder is just right on your My Drive. But if you create other folders, they'll show up on that list. All right, that's pretty much it for this one. Nice and easy. Let's go back to Canvas. All right, let's click on this plus sign one more time. And then here, we're going to click on one more Gmail node. This one is actually optional. This is pretty much done, what we're going to do. This is our goal right there. We can test it out right now. But I'm just going to add one more. So this is just marking a message as read. So the reason why I'm doing this here is because if you see in our Gmail trigger, it was reacting to unread. So this, once it's done with an email, it's just going to mark it as read, just so it doesn't process that same email again. So I'm just going to click on that. Let's leave this blank for now. We're just going to leave it like that. We just click save. So as you can see, this is an email, as a test email, has an attachment, and it's on red. So now if you're going to be testing something like this, you're going to go up to your workflow. You can either click execute workflow from the bottom here or hover over the trigger, and this is going to show up. So let's click on this. Oh, let's just turn this off here first, just so it doesn't react. It's going to just throw an error. So let's execute workflow. Okay, so that failed. Why is that? Oh, okay. So I guess I lied. Attachment 0, not data. So if you ever get this error, it just can't find data. So let's just replace that. Attachment 0. Execute. You can execute individual steps just like I did here. This is going to show up. This just execute the individual node and not the whole workflow. So I'm actually kind of glad that errored out there so I can show you that. All right, so now let's go back to Canvas. So you can see check mark, check mark. So what did this do right here? This downloaded the file, named it attachment 0, not data, and then upload file. This sent right here. This is the output. This is what sends it over to our drive. So let's go check out our drive. All right, right here, attachment from N8N, right? This is what I said to name it. All right, so that's what you name the attachment right here. Exit out of that. If I open it up, this is the test page that I sent myself. All right, and if you download here, just to confirm, you'll see this is the test page. Same thing. Good. All right, so that's pretty much it. You download your attachments from your inbox, upload it to your drive. So you can specify the folder, right? Like I said here, right now it's root folder. Let's see if I create a new folder. Let's just name it untitled folder for now. Okay, there we go. So now we go back here and we open up upload file. Let's say I want to change that. Boom, there it is, untitled folder. And I can save all my attachments there. You can name it attachments from email. You can just leave it like that. Let's go back, hit save. All right, so now let's activate this. That's pretty much it. We're all done, but this is the optional part that I can also add. And this is just avoids confusion when you're running a workflow. So let's open this up. Now, this is the cool thing about N8N. Some of these settings here, you don't really have to type. You can drag and drop and put in the settings, and you can also make it dynamic. What I mean by that, so mark message as read, right? So how is it going to know which message is going to be read, right? When every single message is different. Now, right here in your input, you're going to want to click on schema. I'm going to expand Gmail trigger. Now, I'm going to go where it says ID. This says message ID. What you can do is click on this, drag, drop. And then what this is doing is that it's going to react to whatever message ID is being picked up from the Gmail trigger. So when the Gmail trigger reacts to an email, right, the output is going to be an ID right here. Okay, so it uploads a file, and then right here, just so it knows for that specific ID from the Gmail trigger, right, it's going to mark it as read. Now it's going to do this for any email that comes in. So not specifically this number, that'll change, right? So this is the cool thing. It's dynamic, so you don't have to, put anything too complicated there. You just drag and drop. Save. All right, now let's execute this. It says it's done. If we go back into our inbox, refresh, and it's marked as read. So this is pretty handy, so you don't have to go into it and mark it yourself. It does it all automatically. All right, so let's test this just one more time just to show you how everything looks from start to finish. All right, so what I did here is I sent myself another email here, right, with a test2 attachment. All right, so we're gonna go back to our workflow here. Before we do the test, I'm just gonna click on upload file here. This is optional for you, but I think this is more organized. Now, if you notice here, for the file name, I put in attachment from N8N. Now, the problem with that is that every attachment you're going to get is going to have the same file name, attachment from N8N, and you don't really want that. So if you hover over your mouse over here where it says schema, you're going to see all the different parts from your Gmail trigger. Now, just like we did last time, we're going to drag and drop, and it's going to be dynamic, just like the ID, right? So every time an ID is received, just going to take that ID, not this specific one. So we're going to do the same thing with our file name. Now, let's go and add some stuff here just so we can differentiate between the different attachments. So let's say maybe I want to add the person it's from. Drag and drop. Boom, there we go. And this is going to show you the sample of what it's going to look like. Attachment from N8N, and then from that person, right? You can even add multiple ones. Let's see here, drag and drop. I select the date, drag it over there, and it adds a date. Looks kind of ugly, but just for testing purposes, let's just keep it like this. All right, so let's go back to Canvas, save. All right, now let's go one more test. Execute. Perfect, done. Now, if you remember from last time, we created that untitled folder right here. This is where we changed it to, and this is where it saved the attachment from. So let's double check our Google Drive. Looks like that's there, but let's go to my drive. There's the untitled folder that we made, and there's the attachment. So there's a name, attachment from N8N from, there's a from, and then there's the date that we selected. And then let's go back to our inbox, refresh just to make sure that the mark is right. Worked. Perfect, looks like it did. Congratulations, you just made your very first automation on N8N. I hope all of that makes sense to you, and I hope you enjoyed making your first automation. Now, from here, this is a very simple workflow that we just made. All it does is just download attachments and put them on Google Drive. But you can get a lot more complex with that, add AI agents, do all this sorts of stuff. Don't want to overwhelm you for your first one, so I just kept it simple. But I'm going to be making a lot more complex workflows. So if you like those types of videos and you want to watch more, please support the channel, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this workflow or get stuck in any part of the process, feel free to leave any questions in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. In the meantime, happy automating.